we're taking a look at a watch with a couple of firsts, even for me. One of those is the fact that they're offering it at two different price points, although you're getting a lot of the same specs and quality. This is from a brand, Oficina Technique. Forgive me on my pronunciation, as you guys know, I'm not very good at that. I've actually featured them here on my channel before. I was blown away by the quality of that watch, and this one, I would say, actually tops that previous version that I saw. This one is very unique, and it gets a bracelet that is absolutely beautiful. I've actually changed my mind on a certain type of bracelet that I normally don't like, and this looks gorgeous on this watch. I'm very excited to show it to you. I have one hands on, so let's flip the camera and take a look at an Italian brand that makes some very high quality watches, Oficina Technique. This is really a special watch. It's an Italian design and it has a lot of inspiration from 1970s divers, but this is a very modern looking watch at the same time. It's an integrated bracelet watch. It's also a dive watch, so you're getting 300 meters of water resistance with this watch, a rotating bezel that gets a sapphire insert. I'm not sure if that bezel is lumed. I believe that it is, and you're getting a lot of lume on the dial. This gets a very weird, funky, fun dial that you're not going to see every day. It's not like every other black dial diver that you see. And they make watches like that. I've actually featured one of their watches here on my channel that just had a straightforward black dial, but it was very grainy. It was really nicely made. That also featured a Joux-Perret movement inside the G101. This one also gets the top grade G101 inside. They're making a cheaper version of this watch as well, and I'll talk about that in just a few seconds, but I do want to talk about the overall design of this watch. The dial is really intriguing. It's kind of love it or hate it. When you look at this dial, you're going to see that there are three very large applied indices. Those are at the primary locations on the dial, so the 12, the 9, the 3, and the 6. They are basically beaver teeth. It's a large rectangular shaped index, and they are split down the middle and filled with lume. All of the rest are printed on the dial, and each one of them are getting a numeral. Behind that, there are 3 dashes. That theme is carried over into the seconds hand. You can see that there is a pip, and there's 3 dashes on there. That is lume, so you can definitely see that this watch is working in the dark. Then there is a minute track. I'm not sure if that's lume, but I know that the indices and all of those dashes, that's all lume. You have a segmented hour hand, that's a fence post hand, and it is in black. And then you have an orange fence post hand for the minutes. That is also lumed. It just says the name of the watch down at the 6 o'clock position, or right above the 6 o'clock position. And right below the 12 o'clock position, you have their compass star. That is their logo, and that is applied. It looks really, really good. One of my favorite things about this watch is the integration between the bracelet and the case. So the case is somewhat of a traditional dive watch style integrated bracelet watch. However, it is finished beautifully. I don't know who are actually making these watches, but they are finished beautifully. You have a very nice line of polish that goes along the top of the case. You have crown guards, a sign crown. Again, you get that same logo. You get big screws that screw in the bracelet. There is a strap option that is a slight upcharge if you want to get it on a strap, and that lesser expensive version only comes on the strap. And again, we'll talk about that in just a few seconds. This is a beads of rice bracelet, and it is beautiful. It tapers all the way down to around 16 millimeters, and then you have a really nice push button clasp, which has on the fly micro adjust, and the on the fly micro adjust is really also very nice on here. You have a nice tab on here, and it's one of those when you put it on your wrist, you could adjust it and make it click in so that it actually fits your wrist every single time. And you know, I like that. So on a daily basis, when you put your watch on, it could fluctuate. So you could actually just push this in and make it fit to your wrist. So I do that with a lot of on-the-fly micro adjusts now that use this system. The case back, you don't get to see the movement. I wish you got to see the movement on this watch. However, they did put a very nice screwed-in case back. Has that logo there, the compass rose, and it is very deeply etched into the back. And you have some polishing on that compass rose. It looks really good. You have a screwed-in crown. And overall, I think this is a very unique looking watch. Not many integrated bracelet watches use beads of rice. And then you have that fume pattern, that black to gray. It's a very light gray at the center, and then it goes all the way out to almost black. So there's a lot of color change on the dial. It looks heavily gradient, and I kind of like that. It gives you 70s vibes, but like I said, this is a very modern watch. You have a sapphire bezel, but by the way, that bezel sounds amazing. Let's listen to that really quickly. It's 120 click bezel, very grippy. There's no polishing on it. It actually is, I believe, all brushed, but there's a really nice knurling on it, so it's very easy to grip. I really like the overall design of this watch and the quality components that they're using. This is a 40 millimeter watch. It's 40 millimeters spot on at that bezel. And then you have around a 50 millimeter lug to lug. It's a little bit smaller than that if you measure it on the case. So it's around 47 millimeters, but it's around 50 millimeters if you measure it with the bracelet. By the way, the bracelet does get screwed links, and you have very large screwed end links, for lack of a better term. You don't have quick release, but you have very large screws that you could just unscrew and then put in the rubber strap. It's very, very easy, and it looks really good as well. And you don't have that quick release. I really like that. I like that option. It's around 13.5 millimeters thick. That's including the very high domed sapphire crystal that is slightly raised off of the bezel. And overall, I think it looks really good. It's actually very legible because you're getting a lot of AR coating. On my wrist today, I have my Expedition North from Timex. This is sort of my daily beater. I wear this very, very often. It is in titanium. It has an automatic movement. I just love this watch. It's a really great everyday beater, really. And there is the watch on my 7.5 inch wrist, and you could see it wears pretty thin to the wrist because this is not a thick watch. It's around 13.5 millimeters thick, which is excellent considering that you're getting that dome sapphire crystal and 300 meters of water resistance. You don't get a display case back, but you have a really nice case back on there that is screwed in crown, all the bells and whistles on this model. Now, they are making a different model that is very similar to this, except it doesn't come on a bracelet, and it gets a Miyota movement. So a Miyota 9000 series, I think it's the 9039. That watch is going to cost significantly less than this watch. However, I believe it gets the same lume. I believe it gets the same dial treatment, and I think you're getting the same bezel. Really, it's almost the same watch with just a downgraded movement. So not that the 9039 is a bad movement, this is the higher end version of the Miyota 9039. And the movement inside here is a really nice movement made by Joux-Perret. But if you don't want to spend all the money, you can go a little bit cheaper and get this for, I think it's around $880. This version as it stands is around $1,300 or $1,400, somewhere in between, depending on if you want the strap, the additional strap, or not. Also, the Miyota version is not Swiss made. This one is Swiss made, so there is another distinction because this one does say Swiss made on the dial, but they are more colorful. So they're offering more color options that are a little bit more appropriate for summer. They are bright colors. They look pretty cool. I'll throw up some pictures of them. If you don't want to spend the over $1,000 for it, go for the Miyota-based version, and either way, you're not getting a display case back, so you can't really see the movement anyway. In my opinion, this is what collecting watches is all about. This is a very niche watch. There's not a lot of people out there that are going to go, wow, that dial is for me, because it is kind of wild. It's a little bit out there. It's a little bit strange, but if you like this watch, you're going to love it because it's so well made. And you're getting a lot of lume. So you're getting that lumed bezel. All of those indices are lumed. All of the hands are lumed. It just looks great in the dark. You have a beautiful bracelet on here. And by the way, you can get the bracelet upgraded on that Miyota version. So I would highly recommend getting the bracelet as well, because the bracelet on here is phenomenal. I'm not a huge fan of beads of rice, but I like this one and I like it a lot, especially because it tapers so much. I think it looks fantastic with this overall design. You get those beads of rice, and then I think they're sort of carrying that over into the dial with those dashes. It kind of does go well, really well together. Again, this is around $13.80 as you see it on the bracelet, and then it goes up if you want an extra strap. I think it's only like a couple of dollars more, and then there is a more affordable version around $880 if you want to get the Miyota 9000 series inside, the 9039, but you can get a bracelet with that if you want it, and I think that would bump up the price a little bit more as well. But definitely check out their website. I will put a link to this watch down in the description below. Also, by the way, this does get an extra hard coating. I did want to mention that, and they apply that to the case, the bracelet, and the buckle. So you do get an extra hard coating, which is good for obviously scratch resistance. So that is another thing to mention. It does add to the price, and that's the reason why this is around $1,300. I think it's worth every penny. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. I will catch you guys in the next video.